time. I can feel that burning deep inside. Gonna give it all I am. Gotta feel that power in my hands. The beat of the drums rushing through my skin.
The 2020 WBBL Cup champions, the Sevenoaks Suns.
Being back in the final is everything. Winning the cup again, it would be an awesome feeling.
It's our first chance to get a piece of silverware.
We've worked so hard to get to this position.
It's a great opportunity for us to walk away with the title.
At the end of the day, we do us.
It's about creating more exposure for women's basketball. This is what you work hard for. But our focus is just going into the game, playing our game, playing hard.
It's all about teamwork. To actually get over the hurdle this time would be really sweet.
We're live from the National Basketball Performance Centre in Manchester for a double-header with a difference. First up, we've got the WBBL Cup final. The defending champions, the Sevenoaks Suns, facing the reigning league champs, the Leicester Riders. And then a little later on, we'll have our regular Friday night BBL matchup, where our hosts, the Manchester Giants, take on the visiting Surrey Scorchers. Very good to have you with us. We're tipping off in less than 30 minutes' time, so plenty of time to get you set. And I'm delighted to say that two of the WBBL's very best joining us this evening. Siobhan Pryor, Rhian Bailey, very good to see you both. Kieran Achara present and correct as well. And blimey, we've had a few twists and turns to get here, haven't we?
It's been an unreal story. You know, a few weeks ago we were thinking there's a final going ahead. In fact, actually, Siobhan was pulled in after, you know, Sevenoaks had pulled out. But now I'm just so happy to hear that there's a game going ahead tonight, and, you know, excited to see what happens.
You draw the consolation prize hanging with us, but I hope you enjoy it nevertheless. What a game we've got. Is this the biggest rivalry in the WBBL right now?
Yeah, I would definitely say in recent years this is definitely the biggest rivalry. It's going to be a great game. I'm really excited for it.
The thing is, Sevenoaks haven't played a competitive fixture for 2 months. How's that going to affect them tonight?
Yeah, the momentum is definitely with the Leicester Riders, but if there was any team that was just going to rock up and play after a month, it would be Sevenoaks.
We talked about the rivalry. Are these the two strongest teams in the WBBL right now?
I would say so, definitely, behind the Manchester Mystics, yeah.
That is the correct answer. They're certainly amongst the most successful teams in WBBL history. This is the third successive cup final for Sevenoaks. They're the holders after last year's win over Durham. They lost narrowly the year before to Sheffield. Nottingham and Manchester winning the 2 previous years, which means we got 2 cup winners alongside us. Where does winning that cup final for Manchester rank in terms of everything you've achieved in your career?
It's definitely one of the highlights of my career. Playing in Birmingham, I'm from Birmingham myself, so in front of a home crowd as such, my family and friends were there. It's definitely one of the highlights, yeah.
Great memories. And for all the players out there tonight, for all the players in the WBBL, all the grind, all the work they put out on court all through the season, it's all about nights like this, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, this is what it's all about. And as a player, I love playing in finals. Well, apart from against Manchester, because they beat us last time. But yeah, you're right. Like, it's just the grind every single day. This is what we do it for. The big moments, the bright lights, just really exciting.
These are 2 WBBL powerhouses, as we've established, and that is underlined when you look at their route to the final. 100% record for both of them in the groups, and in the semi-final, Cardiff. Much closer for Sevenoaks. Siobhan, what did that win come down to in the end?
I feel like I'm talking about losing at Nottingham quite a lot today. Yeah, I think really it just came down to they're so experienced as a group, and they've played together for so long. You know, we were leading for a lot of that game, but their experience just shone out at the end. They really stuck together. They rolled with all the punches, and yeah, they came out on top.
That could be critical tonight as well. Let's take a look at the Sevenoaks roster then in a bit more detail. This is the 8th major final they've appeared in since the launch of the WBBL in 2014. Kieran, it's a team that is just used to winning, isn't it?
Definitely. You know, Coach Len Bush has done an excellent job just recruiting a strong core. And then we were kind of talking about this earlier on about the way that the players then go on to university, they then come back and play. You know, so they're experienced, you know, but they've got a culture as well, and a culture of winning.
A couple of names on there I'd like you to pick out for us. If we're talking about that experience, Siobhan, that given the fact they haven't played competitive basketball for a long time, that are going to need to really step up tonight.
Yeah, look, I think, you know, traditionally they're going to look to Kat. They're definitely going to look to Tiani. Having not played for a while, like you said, they're the two that they just run the team. You know, Tiani does everything. Kat is the traditional franchise player. So they will really look to those two to get them going tonight. But then I would pick out two other players. I'd say Janice and Renee too. Renee's been playing great this season. She did a lot of work on like her mental approach to the game over the summer, over lockdown, and it's really, really showing. She's high up there in the 50% three-point shooting. Unbelievable. And then Janice is just a winner, like 2 finals MVPs already. She shows up when it matters. So yeah, they're the 4 I'd really look at.
Okay, a team with a winning culture, a team full of very experienced players. Let's take a closer look inside the locker room.
The best player on the team, I would say, is Carr.
Personally, I think the best player is Tiani Clark.
Probably be T and Kat.
Multi-way tie. Probably leadership from Tiani and like scoring ability from Kat.
They're just all-around players, leaders, scorers, defenders, make you better.
I think a lot of us follow their lead, so I would have to give it to both of them.
Pass. Next question.
The best shooter would be Renee Bush.
Renee Bush. Renee.
Definitely Renee's best shooter.
I would trust her with any shot in the game.
She's very consistent, which is hard to do from the three-point lines.
And she always shows up in the big moments.
Kat or Renee?
Kat.
Kat.
I would say Kat.
Do we need a 2 or a 3?
If it's a 2, yeah. If it's a 3, I would take Renee for the game winner.
Probably Renee, yeah.
We'd probably have multiple options, but I'm going to say me.
Probably be myself, but I'm very confident in kicking it out to any of my teammates.
Is it bad to say that I don't know if we have one?
We don't like to lose it.
None of us like it because we're used to winning.
I'm not sure about that because last year we didn't lose that many games. So.
Janice always comes with the mood.
I would say Janice.
I think Millie or Janice.
No, I cannot.
Oh my God, they're lying to you.
But it doesn't stop me from dancing anyway. Okay, this is gonna be...
Nobody. Their music sucks. I'm joking.
Best locker room DJ, myself.
Kat.
Kat's religiously our DJ, so she's got all the vibes all the time.
We go for the hip hop, 90s. We get it all.
I'm gonna go with Len.
Would be Len.
Len, without a doubt.
Can I say Len? his acoustic covers of things.
If I had to choose, probably T and Kat. Kat or Tiani?
Kat or T, because they've been with him for so long.
Coach's favorite, Tiani Clark.
T and him are always laughing, so I'll say T.
You know, I have a feeling some of my teammates said me, but I'm going to decline and say Renee. It's his daughter. I would hope she's the favorite.
They're best friends.
They're like this.
Delighted to say that Sevenoaks coach Len Bush joins us now. First things first, Coach Bush, do you ever get your hands on the locker room music playlist at all?
I cannot believe that they almost unanimously said I had the worst playlist.
It's not fair. It's not fair. No. How much of a challenge is it going to be for you today, given the fact you haven't played a competitive match for almost 2 months?
Well, it's possible that we'll see some rust, but, you know, we had a good week of practice, and we've got experienced players, and they'll come and give it their all. So we're ready to go.
How have you kept the team's focus over the last 2 months?
Well, we got together every week and talked about what we were doing, and that's pretty much how we got back on the court. You know, the girls just, several of them said they really, really wanted to play, so we started to, you know, reach reach down and find a way to make it work so that everybody can be comfortable. And we're happy we're playing.
Before the break, how did you feel the team was playing?
We were getting better. We were getting better each game, as we normally do. So hopefully we're not going back all the way to the beginning.
And what do you hope the impact of having the final on Sky Sports tonight will be?
I think it's fantastic. I'm hoping and praying it's a good basketball game so people can see what a great game we have and the two good teams that are here today.
Go well tonight, Coach.
Thank you very much.
I can't imagine, despite the challenges of getting his team set, Kieran, that it's going to be hard to motivate his players tonight.
I'm sure they're just grateful to be back on the court. But Coach is talking about, we know that this is going to be a good game. Sevenoaks are prepared in a sense that they're born winners. They're used to winning. So I know the break has been something I can see it as an advantage as well, because you haven't been able to scout them the way they've been scouted in the past. So I'm excited to see them playing tonight.
Let's take a closer look at some of the Sevenoaks side then. Len Bush was a name that Siobhan mentioned earlier on. She's one of the big stars in the WBBL. How pivotal is she to the Suns' chances tonight?
She's one of the most consistent players on the court, especially from behind the three-point line. Mentally, she has a next play attitude, and she just keeps the team going. She's a workhorse for sure.
And Leicester just can't afford to keep her open at all tonight.
Absolutely not. They need to know where she is at all times.
Another GB international, Janice Monacana. She's another major factor in their offense, isn't she?
Yeah, 100%. She can score from anywhere on the floor. She can score from the three-point line inside. And like I said before, she's proven in finals. So, yeah.
You think she could be the deciding factor tonight?
I do, yeah.
Why?
I do. Because of that reason, she just balls out when she needs to ball out, and I'm excited to see how she responds coming off of like an international window with GB2. So her and Renee have had a game recently, so I think that could be something that helps them too.
That's a great point. Tani Clark, another really experienced player on the roster. That experience, Kieran, is going to be vital when you're talking about a cup final and bringing some of the younger players to a level where they're treating it as much as they can like any other game.
It puts your mind at ease, having some of that veteran leadership who, proven to win championships, win cups. They've won it all. It's, the mindset will be, they're going to look at their leaders and they're going to lead by example.
Kat Carr, the skipper, all-time leading WBBL point scorer. That probably tells you everything you need to know. Is she the leader that shapes the direction of this side?
She definitely is. When Kat is on point, the whole team's on point. She throws the ball to where players need to be, and she can lead the team while showing up, scoring 20 points a game. She's easily one of the best players in the WBBL.
Do you think they're going into this game as favourites, or does the extended break change that dynamic?
I think their experience makes them favourites, honestly. Leicester are a great outfit, a really professional outfit. I don't know if they're the underdogs, maybe, but yeah, definitely the experience for Sevenoaks, I think, makes they just pip it, I think.
Too close to call. We'll go with that for now. Well, Sevenoaks getting set. Next up, we'll turn our attention to their opponents. We'll meet the Riders right after this.
Whitney's character, I think, is great for our team. She always keeps things light-hearted, both on and off the floor. Always has some kind of joke or sarcastic input, which makes everyone smile.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the WBBL Cup Final. Getting closer to tip-off here in Manchester. The team's going through their final paces. All eyes on the prize. The first silverware of the WBBL season will be decided tonight. We'll take a closer look at the Leicester Riders. And Sevenoaks, the cup holders. Leicester, the reigning league champions. So they're a team that are used to success as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm thinking tonight, if they actually win tonight, that'll be the 5 seasons that we have a different winner of the cup every year. So, yeah, I think Leicester are proven they're a well-drilled machine as well. They get the practice time in. Even watching them warm up, they're in unison. So, yeah, they know how to win as well. They're very well drilled. It's going to be a very, very exciting game.
There is talent throughout this Riders roster. If we take a closer look, Kate Oliver, their leading point scorer, she's averaging over 16 a game. Holly Winterburn leads the team in rebounds and assists. Who else makes this Riders team tick, Siobhan?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing about them is that they are really solid throughout every spot, but I would pick out Ella Clark as well. She's a really experienced guard out there, where she can play guard forward. She's really versatile too. I'm looking forward to seeing her play and lead in this situation.
They're unbeaten, but they're not just winning, they're winning easily, aren't they?
Yeah, their defense is like trying to break into Fort Knox, honestly. We witnessed it firsthand. They work together, they know what they're doing out there, they know what their system is, and they play to their strengths.
How will they have dealt with their opponents changing, the dates changing, all the flux coming into the cup final?
I think they're such a professional team, they'll handle it. There'll be no problems with that. They keep training, they keep working, they keep preparing for whoever the next opponent is. So I have no doubt that they'll handle that just fine.
All right, we met some of the Sevenoaks side a little bit earlier. Let's find out a little bit more about the Leicester Riders.
Best player on the team? That's a tough one. I'd probably have to go either Holly or Kate.
Kate or Holly? It would be between Kate and Holly.
Kate is really good. Holly, amazing.
Kate's a veteran, she's been here for years, and then Holly, she's just come out of Oregon, so she's pretty much got everything.
Kate's probably the best big that we have, but Holly, I would say, is the best guard.
Can I say myself?
Absolutely.
Me?
Definitely Rob, Hannah Rob.
It's gonna have to be Rob.
Hannah Rob, for sure.
Yeah, that's her specialty. We're down 3, needed a 3 to tie the game. I would pick her.
She's very efficient, clutch down the stretch when you need her to make a 3.
She can shoot the 3 from anywhere, so yeah, definitely Rob.
Any of our point guards, I trust them any day with our ball. So we've got Anna, Holly, Hannah, Rob that can all handle the ball.
Holly, I would say.
Probably Holly as well. Definitely not me.
I would give that to Anna. She definitely has the quick handles.
Probably Anna. Anna as well as our point guard.
Our point guard, Anna.
Anna's crossover, super quick.
She's quite fast, so if you give her that lane to cross over, then she's going to take that and go to the rim every time. She'll break my ankles.
I'd say Whitney.
Whitney, for sure.
Definitely very funny.
Always has some kind of joke or sarcastic input, which makes everyone smile.
Whitney's character, I think, is great for our team. She always keeps things light-hearted, both on and off the floor.
She's always got the jokes coming.
She's straightforward, super sarcastic, funny.
KJ.
Not sure. Likes everyone.
I'd say he's really taken KJ under his wing this year.
Always gives us a little bit tips and handy hints.
She's the youngest on our team. I think she's 16 maybe.
But she's super good and got so much potential to go through with.
He gives her a lot of stick, but also it comes from a good place.
It's going to be a physical game, especially inside, so it's maybe one of our bigs.
Me? I talk a load of rubbish to people.
If then probably Whitney.
Whitney. Not in a bad way, but yeah, I'd probably go with Whit. She's very passionate and fired up.
She's got a big voice, so she likes to opinionate if something's wrong.
Anything the referee says, she just says the opposite.
I mean, she's not afraid to say whatever she thinks, and yeah, probably the first one to argue with the ref, but in a good way, nothing crazy. Holly, probably.
Holly Winterburn.
Holly, definitely. Holly.
Yeah, that's who we trust with the ball at the end of the game.
She has more versatility in terms of their matchups defensively.
It depends what situation we're in, what type of shot we need and stuff, but yeah, I would be confident to take it.
And the Leicester coach, Jasper Sunberg, joins us now. Jesper, you'd take that, wouldn't you, tonight? A shot to win the game?
Yeah, if we get to that position, we'd like that.
Where did you find out that you'd be playing Sevenoaks today as opposed to Nottingham?
I can't even remember anymore. We've been going back and forth a couple of times, so a couple of weeks ago, I think.
And Sevenoaks hasn't played much basketball at all this season. How hard is it for you to prepare for that when there hasn't been a huge amount of game film to study?
Not that hard, to be honest. We know how they play, what they're good at, and if we can handle what they do well and what they have been doing well for the last 3-4 years, then we're in a good place. And if they add some new stuff, then we'll have to pick that up during the game. But in terms of preparing for a team that hasn't played much, I think Sevenoaks is the team that you can prepare for because we know how they like to play. The
outlier, Leicester going incredibly well this season. How happy are you with your team's form coming into a big game like this?
Yeah, I think we're in a good place. We've obviously been working a lot or a very long time since mid-August, so the progress that we've been doing is we're on pace, and I like where we are for this game.
And in the year that we've all had, what would a win tonight mean for the club, for the fans?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be huge for the club, and more so also for our girls that have been going through all the different types of isolation back and forth, starting to practice, preparing for the finals getting cancelled. Just a reward of playing this game to start with. So I think it's going to be a huge boost for us, whether we win or not.
Enjoy the game.
Thank you.
They're in sensational form, winning 5 out of their last 5. The first WBBL Cup final that they've played in, though, despite all their success, how much do you think that might be playing on their minds?
It's definitely up there. But, you know, I think going back to the point you were saying they've been practicing since August, you know, that's been a luxury for, you know, for all the teams this year to get some practice time. That kind of mindset of having, you know, let's get rewarded for this. You know, first BBL Cup final, WBBL Cup final, but at the same time, let's get rewarded for the hard work we've been putting in since August.
Some really exciting players in this Leicester side. Let's talk about it. Holly Winterburn to start with, one of the best young players right now in the league. Talk us through her game.
She's one of my favourites. I love Holly. I love younger players. You know, she's just an all-round player. She is, you know, nigh on a triple-double. I think she could get there by the end of the season. She can score in multiple ways. She rebounds. She's been assisting the ball a lot this year. A lot goes through her, and she's gained a lot of really good experience in her year at Oregon in the States. So she's a very, very good player. I'm really excited to see how she does.
Next up, Ella Clark. How important, Rianne, is her versatility to this side?
So important. Ella, especially on the defensive end, she can guard the guard, she can defend bigs. Her length makes it really difficult to get any shot off smoothly. She's definitely rammed the ball back down my throat a few times this season. So yeah, she's puts on a blocking clinic sometimes.
First-hand experience. We mentioned earlier that Kate Oliver's the leading point scorer for the Riders. How will Sevenoaks try and keep her in check tonight?
I think to keep Kate Oliver in check, they definitely need to play physically with her. They need to run her off the screen. She's a great shooter, and just make her uncomfortable. Force her out of the game that she wants to play.
Sarah Hendricksdottir is a player that the Suns are going to be very careful that they don't let her get going tonight.
Yeah, you know, we haven't talked about her a lot, but she's another force. She moves so well off the ball. She's really crafty around the basket, and she plays for Iceland as her international team, and her Eurobasket campaign has been stunning. She's like in the top 10 scorers, I think, in Europe. So yeah, she's a force to be reckoned with.
Cup finals, as we've talked about, come down often to the finest margins. There is clearly a lot of experience on both sides, but do you think one team has the edge over the other in that respect?
It's hard, but I think if it gets to that point, I think I would go with Sevenoaks, just purely because of the experience they have as a group in these moments.
Let's take a look at the team leaders on both sides. As we've established some big-name players on both sides, Len Bush is somebody we've already keyed in on. How will Leicester try and limit her influence, do you think?
I think they're going to have to run her off the line every time she catches the ball. They're going to have to force her to dribble it and kick it out to other players. That's definitely going to be one of the big key points for Leicester Riders.
Christina Gaskin, we haven't spoken about yet. Lethal shooting numbers, as you can see there. Coach Sunberg would love to see more of the same tonight, won't he?
Yeah, I mean, look, she doesn't take a lot of shots from the three-point line, but her numbers show that she should. So you're right. I think Coach would really be looking for her to have a positive impact today, maybe take a few more shots than she usually would.
The lack of competitive ball that Sevenoaks have played, how do you think that's going to affect Kieran the start to the game?
Well, that's exactly exactly it. Going back to Siobhan's point there, end of the game, I'm thinking Sevenoaks, but at the same time, it's all about the start of this game as well. So I think that Leicester, obviously having that advantage, being able to practice and play games, could be the difference in the game. So if they get off to a good start, I think that'll be all the difference in the game tonight.
What kind of game are you expecting to see in the early stages because of the break they've had?
Yeah, you know, I think, like Kieran said earlier, I don't think it's going to be much different for Leicester. They're a really well-oiled outfit. You know, I'm looking for them to start out fast, and I'm looking for them to try and run against Sevenoaks, just because Sevenoaks haven't got game experience in the last little while.
Ram, what do you think the key matchups are going to be? What is this game, given they're so evenly matched, going to come down to? What are those fine margins?
I think it's definitely going to be Cat Carr and how Leicester handle Cat Carr. I also think how Sevenoaks as a whole handle transition offence, and whether they can stop Leicester on the run, because they are a very fast-paced team. How Sevenoaks Suns deal with Kate Oliver. There's a lot of matchups, a lot of key matchups that are going to decide this game.
What are you particularly looking to key on that we haven't talked about yet?
That we haven't talked about yet? I mean, we have talked about Kate Oliver a lot, but I do think if she plays well, Leicester win. So I feel like Sevenoaks really have to hone in on her, and like Rianne said, make it difficult for her. But yeah, I think we've covered it really. I'm just really excited to get going, honestly.
There we go. It sounds like job done. We've got you set for this one. The first silverware of the season is going to be decided over the next couple of hours. These are two of the strongest teams in the WBBL, and the cup final tips off next. Welcome back to Manchester. We're moments away from tip-off. A major trophy up for grabs, and two of the WBBL's biggest hitters are both firmly fixated on the prize. So let's get this one underway and get over to our commentary team. Ant Rowe is alongside Dan Routledge.
Thank you very much, Nat. Yes, this is the 8th major final in a row that at least one of Leicester or Sevenoaks have been in the WBBL. Such has been their dominance over the recent times. Let's get a look at the starting 5 for the two teams. Starting off with Sevenoaks Suns, who are nominally the home team, and obviously they have had to tweak their lineup with some changes in the roster, but you have Len Bush, you have Clark, you have Carr. 7-8 finals, big game experience. Those are the three that it'll really go through, Ant.
On the big stage, you want your big-time players to step up, and you've got that in Carr and Clark, you know, experienced players that have weathered that storm before, and I'd feel very comfortable having them in my lineup.
And if we take a look at the Leicester lineup, plenty of experience in this one. I always think, and it was said at the top of the show, that as Kate Oliver goes, so go Leicester. She's a player for the big game. We've seen her being MVP in the trophy final on 2 occasions.
Club captain, someone who's been there year after year, emotionally invested, and a leader from the front. 6'4", they'll be looking to have her a big presence, but she's got that youth and she's got that backup in Holly Winterburn, which is going to be a formidable force.
Yes, indeed, and we are almost ready to get things underway here in Manchester as the officials and players take the knee to show their stance against racism and inequality in all its forms. And we are good to go for the 2021 WBBL Cup Final. And the ball is up and underway, and it is Leicester who get the first offense, and we're delighted to be joined by Rhian Bailey up in commentary with myself and Ant. And I get the feeling for Leicester, they will probably want to try and run and pressure Sevenoaks here in the early stages to test out that rust.
Yeah, definitely. As you mentioned, Sevenoaks haven't played a game in over a month, and Leicester Riders have been going since August, so they'll definitely be a lot more game fit than Sevenoaks, and they need to get that advantage early.
Well, here's Bush from 3-point range. Can't leave her that wide open, but unable to knock that one down.
That's definitely a key matchup for the Suns. Taking advantage of Len Bush's 3-point shot.
Nice shot. Really, Oliver to get the first points on the board for Leicester.
Really encouraging start for Riders, and this is what you want to do. If you have a team that hasn't played in a little while, you want to jump on them nice and early and be aggressive.
Bush has it knocked away. Shot clock getting low. Needs to go up. Nice pass inside to Stevens, but the space closed down pretty quickly. Leicester off to a good start here. Winterburn. Back to Oliver. Inside towards Clark. It's bobbling about. Winterburn has to work quick here with the step back 3. Misses everything out of bounds, and it will be a Sevenoaks ball. Good defensive stand there from the Suns.
It was indeed, and you know, Holly Winterburn was given the ball with 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Very difficult ask, but you know, encouraging start from the Suns. Though the defense, you know, getting a stop there after being scored on 2 times previous.
Got to find some way of getting the scoreboard ticking here. Still looking for their first points. Oliver with the rebound, looking to push. Henrik's daughter spinning one way, the other way, steps underneath, and she's certainly a player who can fill it up in a hurry.
Fantastic use of the spin there, and patience, and a strong finish.
She's definitely a great scorer and can score in many ways.
Still nothing dropping for the Suns here in the opening stages. You wonder whether Coach Bush might be forced into a timeout here early on. Down 6-0. Here's Carr. Knocked loose by Winterburn.
Difficult thing for the Suns at the moment is they're taking difficult shots, you know, contested threes, but also, you know, a couple turnovers in the mix there as well. They'll be wanting to get some synchronization in order sometime soon.
Oliver gets the friendly bounce for the 3, and Leicester lead 9-0.
Wow, that's your 6'4" center hitting threes.
You have to get all the way out to her. She can score in almost any way. Here's Carr getting to the free throw line.
I think this is a bit of that rust that Len Bush was talking about. Sevenoaks really need to settle into their offense.
Well, at what point does he have to burn an early timeout here? Is the question. Surely if Leicester score again, which they do with Winterburn going back door.
It's a great play. Get the ball in the hands of Kate Oliver there, and a perfectly timed backdoor cut there from Winterburn for the 2.
First 11 points of the game, all going to Leicester. Sevenoaks trying to stop the bleeding. Well, getting into the lane, finally some points on the board.
That's what you need, your experienced guard, Tiana Clark. The points on the board.
Winterburn. Starter back to Winterburn. Inside to Oliver. Shot clock down to 4 here. Kate Oliver gets it away. Kate Oliver knocks down another one. Here's Carr into the lane. Well, they just can't buy one right now. 14% from the floor.
It's really hard when you haven't played in a while. They're rushing their shots. You know, it's really difficult to feel comfortable on offense when, you know, you've went weeks and weeks without playing games.
And then the first game back to be such an important one.
Yeah, and against a team like Leicester as well, who've been going all the way through, and Leicester really have come out and took advantage of that. They've really stepped on the throttle here in the early stages.
Yeah, definitely. And from experience, Leicester Riders are really good at scouting teams and really good at forcing teams to do what they're uncomfortable doing. And we can see it right here and right now.
Well, I know you had a game earlier in the year. I won't mention the number, but you were kept to a very low number when you played against Leicester. It's a difficult defense to break down.
We were. They're so aggressive, and they've had that preparation since August, and that really held them in good stead. We were definitely feeling some of the nerves that Sevenoaks are feeling today. So I can't imagine how that team feels on this stage as well.
And Ant, I don't want to bring up bad memories for you, but you've been in a situation in a final where your team's got down early on. Mentally, how do you adjust in all of that?
It's tough because it's the whole build-up too, and this has been such a disjointed build-up. I cannot even imagine psychologically how difficult this journey must have been for both teams. And you know, this is what you work for, and then you finally get that opportunity. And if you start slow, you feel like you're dwindling it away. And in a cup game as well, sometimes that's all it takes. If you have a late start and you're playing catch-up for the whole game against a very good team, and it could be all she wrote. So yeah, really difficult mentally, I think, to stay on course. But there's a lot of basketball to play in this game. We've seen enough games to know that.
You said in the pre-game, if there's one team that you could just roll the ball out having not played, this Sevenoaks team is probably it. Right, they haven't had the best 5 minutes. They've got to almost park that. Let's go again now. Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't rule them out just yet. Like Rose said, there's a lot of basketball to be played. Here's Clark. Spinning into the lane, creating some opportunity for herself and get the team to the free throw line with a chance to put some points on the board.
That's a great move there from Clark, and good use of the pump fake. And she's been, you know, that individual that it doesn't seem to. She doesn't look phased. She looks very comfortable, and you know, the experience, of course, comes into play. But she's the one person with the 2 points on the board. But she looks comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think she'll be phased by the score at all. She knows what she's come out to do, and she's just going to do that, whatever it takes.
That's all it takes sometimes. It's contagious. If you can just get that energy from one or two players, and it can carry everyone else along, and that positivity can flow pretty fast.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen Janice check into the game as well, and she instantly brings a bright spark. She's a big body. She'll be able to be aggressive.
And as Siobhan said at the top, another one with multiple MVP performances in big games. Here's Winterburn. Nice pass. Little sneaky cut from Henrik's daughter, found by Winterburn for 2.
Great find. And Winterburn averaging six assists a game, so she's definitely one who distributes the ball really well.
She rebounds the ball really well, and there's another one for her. She's got a couple of boards and 4 assists already. Here's Oliver for another 3. And Kate Oliver feeling it from long range.
Wow, they've got that no mercy mentality, and you know, you feel like if Sevenoaks Suns could just get a few stops together and increase their confidence, but on the other end they continue to struggle.
Well, 21 points in 6 minutes is way too many. There, and it's a problem, and the defense closes the door. A double block, really. Henrik's daughter. Back to Oliver. And a little attack into the lane, shot a little bit short from Lappenkuper. Clark, cross court, Marcana thought about the three, took it at the second attempt, probably should have took it first time.
Yeah, second guessed herself. That was a great pass there from Clark.
Pick and roll, Lappenkuper open for the three.
And then we can see how much attention Kate Oliver brings when she rolls to the basket, leaving the shooters on the perimeter wide open.
Into the lane, trying to get round Kate Oliver. Easier said than done. Ball is poked out of bounds and will be possession for the Suns with 9 on the shot clock.
Kate Oliver is such a presence in there, and that's an equivalent to having a 7-footer in the men's game. It's, you know, it's someone who's so long and it's so difficult to get a shot over that length.
Just a little scramble on defense there for Leicester as the subs came in and they needed to realign themselves. It was Gaskin and Robb who entered the game. Down low this time to Oliver. Oh, Robb was wide open in the lane. Goes out to Gaskin and an easy rebound for Carr. Oh, that's Clark, sorry.
That's what they want Gaskin to do. She shoots the three, you know, high percentage, and they want her to take open shots. Just wasn't able to knock it down on that occasion.
Clark, mid-range, back iron. Nobody in a Sevenoaks shirt anywhere near that. Easy rebound for Leicester. Gaskin back to Oliver. Quick release for three. Again, Oliver getting a hand to poke that one loose. Here's Carr. Beats Winterburn and takes the foul. Just really the first step as much as anything else.
When you compare these two teams pound for pound in terms of the depth, you know, who would you say is deeper on the bench?
I would say Leicester Riders have definitely got a deeper bench. There's been a few roster changes throughout the period that Sevenoaks have been away, and I think that they've been left a bit short by them. But their most experienced players have stayed, which will hold them in good stead. But they do just have to settle, and here we go. Basket's good. Hopefully they can build on that momentum.
Yeah, Julia Koppel going back to Germany is a big loss for them in a game such as this. Not that Leicester are taking any mercy here. Henrik's daughter, a little glance at the referee. Looked like she might have been caught on the arm there, but it's out of bounds and it'll be a Leicester, Sevenoaks. Oh, let's have another look. There, it looks like caught on the elbow there.
Yeah, definitely caught on the elbow. If that was me, I think I'd have had more to say.
Well, Sevenoaks need all the luck they can get to cut into this deficit, and they'll take that.
Again, good pressure defense on the ball. Manakana going to work. The up and under off the glass. Gets her own rebound as well. Still fighting hard for it. And that is somebody who just will not be denied there.
Exactly, and that's what Sevenoaks need right now. I think they need a burst of energy. And Janice is definitely providing that.
Because, I mean, that's what can happen as well on the opposite side. We've kind of highlighted the negatives of it, but when you haven't played basketball in a while, it can just give you that adrenaline, you know, 100 on a level 10, you know, and you just fight. Maybe your shot's not going, but you find ways to get it done, you know, second chance opportunities, third chance opportunities. If they can get the ball going, you know, inside and get those, you know, easy putbacks, then they're going to be able to put points on the board.
Yeah, exactly. Sevenoaks need to fight like they're the underdogs right now. I know their championship record has been really good, but the situation that they're in right now, they're definitely the underdogs coming into this game.
Well, Henrik's daughter's second foul sees her go to the bench. The free throws are good. Suns into double figures now. clock. Trying to get it towards Rob. Deflected out of bounds, Leicester ball.
Sevenoaks got an opportunity here. The Riders' offense isn't looking quite as fluent as it once was. They've settled for three-point shots and outside shots.
Nice work inside, but the shot a little bit short from Gaskin. Chance to get it back into single figures here, and the foul is called.
She's very Monacana, very hesitant on that three-point shot. She's really looking to make things happen, go into the basket, which is great. You know, racking up the fouls for Leicester Riders, who are now on 4.
Definitely, I think free throws can definitely help you settle as a team as well, and get some points on the board nice and easily.
Well, 4 fouls in the game. They've all been on Leicester so far. Here's Carr looking to attack, gets into the lane. Gaskin with the rebound. Poke loose. Allen comes up with it. Up and Cooper. Up around the screen. Here's Rob putting it on the floor. Drives in, kicks out 3 on the shot clock as he has to go up. Offensive rebound from Rob. And she'll bring it out for a new 14. Gaskin going to fire up the 3 and knock it down.
Great play, great play.
Wow. Well, we saw statistics before the game, and they were mighty impressive.
Right on the
Sevenoaks have an
buzzer.
answer.
The 3 is good for Garida Perez, knocking it down. Coming down the floor quick. It's a good outlet pass. And boy, does that give them a little bit of momentum going in to the second quarter.
It does indeed. Incredible shot, contested as well, and that momentum can carry on right through, and this deficit doesn't quite look as bad now.
Well, the Suns started slowly. They're heating up now. We'll be back with the second quarter right after this break. Welcome back to Manchester, where Leicester started out with 21 of the first 25 points in the ball game, but Sevenoaks slowly chipping away at it, got the gap down to 11, looking to cut it further with Monacona driving in. And she certainly went she came off the bench, has really injected some life into this team.
She really has. She's been so good at going both left and right as well, being very aggressive. And she's also given up three-point shots that perhaps weren't the best thing for her team at the time and got the Riders to commit fouls.
You know, as we said in the pre-game, Janice is one of the spark factors for that Sevenoaks team. And if she shows up today, it will be a different game.
That cuts the gap to 10.
Which could be a lot worse, Dan. You know, a team who hasn't played in a while, you can be shell-shocked and, you know, and you don't want to throw in the towel, of course, but...
Well, you've seen a difference in Leicester here over the last sort of 4 minutes of play, where actually now Sevenoaks are playing at the level that you would expect. It was all too easy for Leicester in the first 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. They've come out with much more energy. And I think they believe they're better than they are, and we can see that.
Almost stolen away there, but Winterburn takes a contact, foul called.
Garrido Perez has been a bright spark for this Suns team on the offensive end. 5 early points for her.
Here's Winterburn. Rob space for 3. She likes that shot. Good rebound from Allen. Here's Allen. Driving in, kicks it out. Allen's going to have to shoot it. Tried to thread the needle, turned it over. Monacana drives in. Good defensive stand from Allen.
Really good defensive stand there from Whitney Allen. And
of course, her sister was an MVP in the Cup final a few years back. 2017, was that?
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah.
Clark going to come back into the game for Sevenoaks.
Wow, Rhiann Bailey's been flirting with those MVP numbers too on this stage.
I mean, you know, I didn't want to mention it.
Nice defense stolen away by Lachlan Cooper. All the way to the basket, lays it in.
Well, that's what Sevenoaks can't do, and they've done a really good job of not turning the ball over so far. That was just their second turnover.
Great block from Oliver. Inside to Oliver in the mid-post. Off the mark. It's Carr for 3. Back iron. Good box out from Allen.
I think Whitney Allen's injected that energy off the bench for the Riders, and she's defended Monacana very well, who's been very active on the offensive end.
Oliver in the post, double team comes, gets it away to Winterburn, and you can see the impact that she is having, Kate Oliver, with just drawing the defense towards her, and on that occasion passing it off nicely.
Definitely. Sevenoaks have no player like Kate Oliver. They have no big, they have no one above 6'2" who can guard her. So they definitely have to rotate and scramble, and it can cause some problems for the defense.
The difficult thing about Kate Oliver as well, she's not just your typical big. She shoots 3, she passes the ball, she's the, you know, she can catch the ball at the top of the key and has good enough vision. It's very, very difficult to stop.
Definitely.
I mean, we've also seen in this game, she can grab a defensive rebound and put the ball on the floor herself. She doesn't have to kick it out all the time as well. Very versatile. And speaking of versatile, I was about to say, Monacana herself can do a lot of different things for this team, but she couldn't lay in the easy one there. Nice pass, but deflected away, and it did touch Oliver last, so it'll be a Sevenoaks ball.
It's a good play from Monacana there. She's missed the shot on the other end, which is frustrating, but she's got back in the play. If she doesn't tip that ball, it's another lay-in for Kate Oliver.
It's Carr. Monacana now for 3. Oh, in the end, it was almost a good pass.
Just see Janice Monacana, she's just trying to make things happen. She's trying to get things going and not quite firing on all cylinders just yet.
Back to Oliver, space for the 3. While the bench was up, they thought that was in.
Sevenoaks just can't afford to leave Kate Oliver out on that 3-point line alone.
Nice drive to the basket and an easy score. You said it already. Garrido Perez doing a good job of getting the scoreboard ticking for a team. 7 now. Malcolm Cooper with the crossover, driving hard. It's an offensive foul.
Wow, that's a quick crossover, and she was all the way to the rim there and just gets over in time. Great defense there from Monacana.
Yeah, really good stand by Janice.
Knew where she was on the court as well. Made sure she had her feet outside of the no charge circle. Rita Perez 3 in and out. Rob comes down with the loose ball. Still an 11-point lead here for Leicester in the second period. Mainly off the back of their great start. Here's Clark going to work. Now Carr pulls it away. Bush driving in. It's out to Carr. Bush now for 3. Oh, uncharacteristically off the mark. Winterburn. Clark lets fly, steps into the 3. Well, they had one bobbling nicely earlier in the game. That one looked like it might as well, but no such luck for Ella Clark. Nice mid-range jumper, and that is going to force Leicester into a timeout midway through this second quarter. And the back of yet another basket from Garrido Perez, which has cut Leicester's lead to single figures.
She's looked great. She looks very, very comfortable around the perimeter and getting inside to that mid-range jump shot. Carrying the load right now for the Suns.
Certainly is with 9 points, and you know there's still 5 minutes to go to half-time, Rian, but if Sevenoaks are anywhere in single figures at half-time, given the way the first 6 minutes of this ball game went, they'll feel really good about themselves.
Yeah, I definitely think they will. Going down by that many points is nerve-wracking, especially on this stage. I think they've found their feet a little bit and they're starting to play a little bit more how Sevenoaks play. I think they need to sharpen up their passes because right now they're shooting shots under pressure, and I think if the passes were a bit more on target, they would be open.
Well, and they're still in a position here with their striking distance. You know, they haven't got a lot at the moment from Kat Carr, who can easily put 20 points on the board for you. And even when you look at Janice Monacana, she has came into this game and positively impacted the game for her team, but she's sitting on 0 field goals at the moment. So there's definitely gains there to be had from this offense from the Sevenoaks that they haven't been able to utilize just yet.
Clark as well with only 4 points so far. So as you say, room for improvement for a team that is only down 9 as it stands. Winterburn. Back to Rob. Working the pick and roll. Gets it to Oliver. Back to Rob for 3. It's good. Hannah Robb knocks down the triple.
Wow, well, she's top of the list on the scout report for knockdown threes, and she proved her point right there.
It was a great offense by Riders. the ball moved from one side of the floor to the other. All the players got involved, and it pays off.
Steadies the ship a little bit out of the timeout as well as Rob penetrates in. Oh, nice chase down. Good hustle to keep that alive from Janiszewska.
Wow. Janiszewska coming into this game, that young energy. Fantastic hustle there.
Oh, it is frightening to see the date of birth, 2004 born.
I know. Oh, to be young again.
we thought Holly Winterburn was young. She's only 16 years of age out there in a cup final.
No, and she's doing really well. She's definitely one of the stars to watch over the next few years.
Nice drive to the basket. Bush for two, her first score of the game.
Oh, Rani Bush hasn't quite got a three-point shot going yet, so she found an alternative route, and that was straight to the basket.
Went along the baseline. Rob putting it on the floor, trying to kick it back out. A nice play once again, just being the right place at the right time.
Well, after that timeout, the Riders' offense just looks so much better. You got players cutting to the basket. There's a lot more movement, sharing of the basketball.
Two quick points there for two big plays, really, for Janiszewska. And a foul at the other end on Gaskin, which will result in free throws again for Sevenoaks. They have been able to get to the line here consistently in the first half.
That's what you want. You know, if you're a team that's not shooting the ball particularly well or feeling great about yourselves offensively, you just want to get some free points from the line and stay close to when that hot streak does come. You're well within reach.
Well, it's always good to see the ball go through the basket. It doesn't matter how many points it's worth, really. Nice work from Clark to make it difficult for Winterburn. There's Rob, turning the corner to the mid-post, off the mark, rebound Carr. Garner flushed off the three-point line, takes it from the free throw line instead, good for two.
That looked really good. Great use of the pump fake there and that pull-up mid-range jump shot. Do her confidence the world of good.
Rob throws it inside. Gaskin going to work, got caught on the arm by Carr, and that will be two free throws for Leicester, only their second trip of the game to the line.
Riders are doing a great job of moving the ball and take advantage of their mismatches that they have on offense, especially inside.
Well, Christina Gaskin, 6'2", and like you said, they've got no one really that can handle that size, and Gaskin does a really good job there of getting the defense to commit the foul.
Oh, misses them both, though. And again, with 2.5 minutes to play, Sevenoaks can get it back into single figures. Carr for three, knocks it down, big shot. Wow.
And that's the effect that Janice can have. You can't leave her open, you can't sleep on it for a second. The defense needs to get out to her.
Again, you said it on the previous play, that shot from the elbow. When the ball starts going in, it feels easier even from further out. Nice pass inside. Oh, Gaskin misses from close range. Crowded out on the rebound. Here comes Bush. Cross court for another three!
And they found it again.
And suddenly the Sevenoaks Suns have cut this down to only 4.
And that's their experience showing through now. They've not been, you know, they were down and they've kept their composure and they're right back in the game.
What a find it was as well. There was a sea of red in between the ball and Makana in the corner. She gets it through and knocks down the three, and as you said, sometimes experience just trumps talent.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can see, but Carr was commanding that whole play. She set the screen and she was pointing to Bush to send the ball. And it, you know, that's how she leads the team, and that's how they've been successful.
Well, now it's Leicester who are being asked some questions here. They're still in the lead. It's one of those funny things, momentum, that even though the scoreboard still says they're up, they'll feel like things are going against them right now.
Yeah, no, definitely. And as much as it seems like a positive, it's very difficult when you go so up. That, you know, you score so many points straight away in the beginning because it gives you a bit of a cushion. You take your foot off the gas, and then all of a sudden you find yourself in a 4-point game.
And the opposition have that, like, you know, nothing to lose mentality. You know, you're down 15 already. You know, how much worse can it get? Let's just see what can happen here. And that's what's happened. And even with that last play, you see a really great high-low there from Rob down to Gaskin. Gaskin misses the layup down the other end. They hit a 3. It's a 5-point swing. You know, you should have hit the layup, and then they hit the 3. So, you know, big momentum change here.
Well, 6 minutes into the ball game, Leicester led 21-4, and with 1:40 to go in the first half, it is a 4-point game.
What Riders have been really good at is responding out of the timeout. Last time it was a really well-ran play. Let's see if they can respond well this time.
Great crossover.
Yeah, but doesn't get any points for it, Lappin Cooper. Here's Carr. Perez. Short. Might have got a little piece of that Ella Clark.
And that's how Ella Clark is so effective. She'll just make you change your shot.
Winterberg driving in, looking for a whistle. Doesn't come her way. Final minute of the first half. Chance for Sevenoaks to make it a one-shot game. Stolen away by Clark. 2 big defensive plays from her.
Uncharacteristic turnover there from Clark as well. Sorry, from Kat as well. She had to pull up jump shot, but didn't take it.
Winterburn again driving in, and this time she does hear the whistle in her favour, and Holly Winterburn will go to the line for 2.
Good aggression there from Holly Winterburn, and you know, when there's chaos on court, be aggressive and attack the rim, and it's essentially what she did on that occasion.
Second one falls short. There's probably an offense each left in this first half. Monacana with space for another 3. Strings it again! Janice Monacana with a 3rd triple of this quarter.
And that is the spark that we were talking about.
She's running up those screens on the baseline. You cannot leave her open. Wow.
Winterburn looking to tick it down here to end the first half. Foul called over the limit, so it'll be 2 free throws. Second one there on Monacana.
Holly Winterburn did a good job again of making something happen out of nothing. You know, there was very limited movement on that offense, and uses her dribble and versatility there to get the defense to commit a foul again.
Makes them both this time. 7 seconds left in the first half. Clark pulls up, it's a long 2, and can't convert, and that will do it. Well, what a swing there in the first half. Leicester led by as many as 17, but at the half they go in only up 4.
And you take it. If you're in the Sevenoaks Suns camp, you'd take it. You know, it looked like a disastrous start for them. World is against you. Adversity staring you in the face, but they found a way, and they did it through their experience guys as well. And I think they had a really good offensive production there from Garrido Perez, who I thought was excellent. You know, I think she was controlled and she took good shots. But, you know, Kat Carr handled the ball well, but Janice Monacana, stud.
Yeah, you know, it's the beauty of basketball. Having these swings and roundabouts, you know, it's what we love about the game.
Well, Leicester shooting the ball much better, out-rebounding their opponents, double the amount of assists, but none of that matters. It's the two numbers at the top there that's the important one, and Leicester going in, they've got to try and keep that positive mental mindset. If you'd said before the game to Leicester you'll go in up 4, they'd have been happy with that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, definitely happy with that against a talented Sevenoaks Suns team and an experienced one at that. They now just have to keep their composure and come back out with the energy that they started the game with.
Well, you can see the rebounding. Very good for Leicester. Let's go down courtside to Nat.
Kat Carr, the Sevenoaks skipper, delighted to say joins us. Now, given the way the game started, Kat, do you feel that you're the team going into the locker room with the momentum?
Yeah, I mean, we're feeling good. We struggled in the beginning, but yeah, we're just looking for our shots. We know our shots, and they're going to fall, so we got to keep taking them.
How much did the 2-month break that you've had contribute to that slow start?
I mean, we've had to stop and go all season, so we're not going to blame it on anything particular.
It's the cup final as well, TV cameras here. Does that play on your mind when you get into a hole like that early on?
Maybe a little bit, but, you know, once the jitters, butterflies go, then, you know, we're just playing basketball.
You fought back well defensively, you had a much stronger second quarter. What changed?
I think we just picked up our intensity. We're missing a couple players, so, you know, we were playing in different spots than we normally would. So, you know, we just had to try to get back into a flow and, you know, count on each other to be there when we need them.
Janice Monicana stepping up as well. How big will those 3 3-pointers prove to be, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Janice does, and we'll keep going to her.
What would you be telling your teammates in the locker room at halftime, Kat?
Keep your heads up. Let's keep going. If we start on the defensive end, then it'll flow into the offense.
We'll let you get into that locker room. Thanks for taking time to talk to us, though. We appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries.
They're still very much in this. At half-time in the WBBL Cup Final, it's just a 4-point difference. Game on. Analysis and reaction next. The start it was for the Leicester Riders, in complete control of this one. But what a fight back from Sevenoaks, showing the champion spirit within this side. And in probably, given the first 8-9 minutes of this game, we have a 4-point ball game only at the half. Leicester 37, Sevenoaks 33 is the halftime score. If you look at the match stats, well, the Suns shooting under par there. Again, it was the first quarter that did the real damage, but some big three-pointers from Janice Monacana there, which could prove to be crucial. Turnovers, Kieran Achara, also proving to be a key factor.
I was really surprised at the turnovers, actually, because we were saying the rust of the Sevenoaks, but they only had 3 turnovers for the half. Leicester, especially in that second quarter, tried to turn the ball over a little bit, and that really gave a positive momentum for Sevenoaks.
We wondered what kind of start we'd get, given the fact Sevenoaks haven't played competitive ball for a couple of months. We got our answer. How impressive were the Riders in that first quarter?
Yeah, I mean, me and Kieran were sat watching it. It was just really nice to see them play. And the way that they play together. They're really good across the board, from guards to forwards. They were ready to shoot. Yeah, it was just really nice to watch. Really good team basketball.
They were 16-2 down, Sevenoaks, 21-4 down at one point as well. How difficult, Rianne, is it to pull yourselves out of it, as they did mentally when you're in a hole like that?
I think it's very difficult, but with an experienced side like Sevenoaks, I think they would have, regrouped. They would have had a conversation with coach. And you know what? Sometimes it takes a lot of the pressure off, because you become the underdog. You have nothing to lose in that situation. And I think that showed when they came back out.
How much of the first quarter do you think was down to Leicester playing particularly well against Sevenoaks playing particularly badly?
I'd say 50-50. Leicester played really well, moved the ball really well, and took advantage of their mismatches. And Sevenoaks, we definitely saw that rust that Coach Len was talking about. Yeah,
which they managed to shake off pretty quickly. Looked easy for Leicester early on, though, of course. And it was their skipper, Kate Oliver, leading by example, leading point scorer. And she racked up 10 in the first quarter alone, Kieran.
She had a great first quarter, and I think she went cold in the second quarter, but the way she can score, she's so versatile, putting the ball on the floor there, nice pull up, space in the floor here. Wide open three-pointer, good rhythm within her shot. I think she, as they said at the start of the game, she makes the team go, and she can create for herself, but also create for others.
Sevenoaks did a good job of keeping her quieter in the second quarter, though, didn't they?
Yeah, well, she didn't score in the second quarter, and I think at the start of the show, I think Rianne and Siobhan alluded to the point that when Oliver's doing well, the team's doing well, and that's why I think Sevenoaks got back into the game in the second quarter.
Let's talk about that comeback then, and in particular that buzzer beater at the end of the first quarter from Garrido Perez. How key was that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice, look, to see it go in. They're all up off the bench, and then she really took that momentum, and from that, they took it into the second quarter. Like you'll see, she's done a really good job for them, and she settled them early. It's not someone that we talked about. She has taken it to the basket again.
It's a really good point, actually, Rianne, isn't it? That we talked obviously about the key protagonists, the key players in this team, but Coach Bush will be looking at it, and the upside that some of his big stars are yet to step up, and of course, there's tremendous upside with that in the second half.
Yeah, definitely. We were expecting Clark and Kat Carr to put points on the board quite early, but actually they've just led and taken a back seat and let their teammates kind of shine. So they definitely have areas to improve, which is scary for the Riders and positive for the Suns.
Big time. One of the players that was really shining was Janice Monacana. We mentioned the importance of these three-pointers that she landed, Siobhan. They could be key, not just to galvanise the team and get them set for the second half.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it, didn't we, at the start. She's an energy player. Like she hit 3 threes. She's coming off the bench as well, and it's such a good feeling as a team to have a player like this coming off the bench and giving you a spark like that. And I think this spark could be key to the end of the game.
The thing that surprised me at the start of the game, she had a couple of open looks at 3, but she was hesitant to take them. So once she made that first one, you could then see her eyes lit up, and it was money every single time after that.
Talking about the bench, who do you think's got the stronger bench if this one goes deep?
It's difficult. We were talking about this earlier. I think the thing with Leicester is that because of the way that they play, and they play such team ball, they can rely on everybody. Everybody scores. So I think, that's good for them. Sevenoaks, they don't go too deep in the bench. I don't know if there might be a few tired legs at the end of the game, but yeah, I definitely think when we're looking at the bench, just because of the way that Leicester play, I think, for them it's better.
Two contrasting styles, isn't it? You've got big-name players that they need to go off in the second half versus strength in depth with Leicester. Who's going to be the happier coach going into the locker room at half-time?
I would say Sevenoaks. To be honest, though, at the start of the game, if you'd have told, told Jasper that they were going to go in 4 up, he'd probably be happy with that. But I think just the way in which Sevenoaks have made their comeback, Len will be very happy with that.
Leicester is still in the lead, of course. What do they need to do to close this game down, Siobhan?
No, I think they just need to go back to what was working for them. I think keep putting the ball through Kate Oliver's hands. She wasn't only scoring. When they got the ball to them, they move well off of her. She can pass the ball well. I think don't focus only on that, but they need to get her back into this in the second half.
I also said that for me, when Henrik's daughter, she got in foul trouble, she went out of the game, she moved so well off the ball that causes a lot of confusion for Sevenoaks. So getting her back into the game in the second half, I think, could make a big difference for Leicester.
All right, then, it is all to play for here in the WBBL Cup final. What a second half we have in store, and it's coming next. Time in the WBBL Cup final. The Riders have the lead, but it's only 4 points, and it was the Suns going into the half with a lot of momentum. Who is going to land the first major silverware of the WBBL season? Let's find out as we head back to Ant and Dan.
Thanks, Nat. I feel like I should deflect that straight to Ant, but I guess the question I want to ask you here, Ant, is the psychology of it as a player. Having been up in a big situation, they're still 4 up at half-time. If they win the second half by 4 points, again, they'll win the cup final by 8. They've got to think of it through that lens rather than we gave away 17-point lead.
For sure, and they started this game with this is at 5, and I think with the reintroduction of Henrik's daughter and Kate Oliver as well, who was so influential in that first quarter, that would be able to put efficient point scoring on the board for this Riders team early.
And Siobhan Pryor has joined us up in the commentary booth. Important for Leicester to get back to where they were in that first quarter here at the start of the second half.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, let's not get carried away. I don't think Leicester are under any illusion that it was going to be an easy game, even though they did go up by that many. So, you know, part of them will have been expecting the fight back from Sevenoaks, but yeah, let's see how they can kick it off here.
Here's Clark as Sevenoaks get a stop on the first offense of... Oh no, they've left Monicano open again. This time she doesn't make them pay. 3 of 5 from behind the arc in the first half. Here's Henrik's daughter. Back to Oliver. Winterburn. Oliver again for 3. Off the mark.
She's been automatic today. She's really not thinking about her shots at all. She's just taking them. It's good to see.
Here's Carr. Henrik's daughter in front of her, hands it back to Bush, trying to create some space. Pass deflected away, and with 6 on the shot clock, it'll be a Sevenoaks ball.
Well, if that pass did get through, Janice Monicano was open again in the corner. This Riders defense is going to have to locate her.
Carr with the shot, off the mark. Ball is loose. It's ended up in Clark's hands. It's batted away.
That type of effort on the glass, you know, those second chances, that's what's going to get them into this game.
Carr shot off the mark. Clark is a very good rebounding guard. Rob to the Eurostep. Off the mark. Driving through, knocked away. Carr looking at the officials. The whistle blows, but it's for an out of bounds, not a foul.
Well, Kat Carr's just trying to make something happen. Her shot hasn't quite clicked yet so far this evening, and she's trying to find a way to get to the rim.
Here is Carr. Shot clock getting low, has to heave it up. And Rob fighting with Bush. It's going to be another possession for the Suns.
Again, that's a really good job of just, look how hard she goes after the offensive rebound here.
Well, Rob known for her shooting, but she has been very, very active on those boards.
It's into Carr. Clark underneath. Lights kind of went out there as Kate Oliver got a hand in the way. Nice steal from Winterburn. Nice pass inside. Lappenkupper with the score. First one of the second half.
You know,
again, defense to offense.
This is what I love about Leicester, just the way they move on offense, and their defense definitely does serve their offense. They're the best defensive team in the league statistically.
Here's Henrik's daughter, who spent a lot of time on the bench in the first half after picking up that second foul. Rob driving to the basket.
She's done a really good job there of towing the line on the baseline and finding a way to get all the way to the rim with a nice finish.
Yeah, and that's what happens when they're so worried about people on the three-point line. You've got a good shot like Hannah. You have to run them off of the three-point line. Opens up the inside for her.
It's Carr trying to find a way around Henrik's daughter. Got the shot away, but too much on it.
Well, it's a difficult matchup because Henrik's daughter is a good 6'1". It's a lot longer than her, and she's having to shoot the ball over her length.
Well, Leicester started with the first 10 points of the first half, and they've got the first 6 here. Connor driving in, and the foul called against Kate Oliver. It's her first.
I think she's been so aggressive. Every time she's caught the ball, Janice, right from the start of the game, right as soon as she came in off the bench. Such an offensive spark.
She's made things happen, hasn't she? Just with her intention, you know, as soon as she came into the game, her energy. She didn't hit a field goal, and you know, for the first few minutes of her, of her entry into the game, but it was just that energy and that willingness to will her team forward.
Yeah, I think as soon as she hit that pull-up jump shot, that two, just on the foul line, that was it. That was it.
Let's start it. Stepping underneath. Nice drive. Gets her. No, doesn't quite get her own rebound. Karina Perez back to Carr. Kind of stuck there on the edge of the key, but great pass out of it to Monacona for 2.
Wow, there was no options whatsoever, and a beautiful cut there from Janice Monacona. A nice finish with the left.
Oliver trying to thread the needle.
Looked like she had the shot there. She got a bit of space for herself.
She did, and she was looking for the high-low, wasn't she, instead? And
Kat's hands were down too.
You would want the reverse of that. You'd want Oliver to receive the ball under the rim.
Here's Carr. Takes the 3. Makes the 3. Kat Carr strokes it from behind the arc. Her first 3 of the game.
Yeah, we've been waiting for that, haven't we?
We said it, Siobhan, it just takes one. It just takes one shot. And
watch out.
This could open up a whole new offensive avenue for the Suns.
Exactly.
Nice work, Holly Winterman into the paint off the glass.
We spoke about her versatility, but she can hurt you in a number of ways. And
great defense. Hendricksdottir with the steal and runs it back for an easy lay-in.
Oh, we did speak about that. The Suns have been very good at looking after the basketball. Only 3 turnovers at half-time, and that is not a place you'd want to turn the ball over.
No, I think this is where Leicester's at their best as well. Defense to offense.
11 points off turnovers in this game, and you talk about how few turnovers there have been for Sevenoaks.
Yeah, they capitalise on every single one.
Here's Oliver with the size mismatch down low, and suddenly, from being a 3-point game, it's a 9-point game.
I mean, she's just a problem. Like, what do you do with her? She can step out and shoot the 3. She's going to poach you up. I haven't seen them be too physical with her. I'd like to see Sevenoaks maybe put her under a little bit of pressure physically.
I think, oh, that's beautiful. That is too nice off the glass.
Goodness me. Janice Monacona just finding a way to get it done.
Beautiful footwork.
Here's Rob for 3. And Leicester come right down the other end, and any momentum they might have had gets sucked away.
Hannah Robb, stellar job so far today. Kills them with a 3.
It's really nice to see her playing well on a big stage like this.
Tough shot from Carr. Had a hand in her face.
They are not going to go away, and you know Leicester know that. They have to play a 40-minute game to beat Sevenoaks.
Winterburn runs out of room a little bit. Oliver into Hendricksdottir. Spinning one way, the other. Travel, is it? Yes, it is.
She's so crafty around the rim, too. I really like to watch her play.
She's come out well here in the second half, given she had spent so much time on the bench in the first half. Hasn't let that affect her. I know, Siobhan, you've never committed a foul in your career, so you wouldn't have been on the bench in that sort of situation, but she's done well.
And I mean, if I had done, it wasn't really a foul, so I'm not really too sure, really.
Maybe the refs made a mistake somewhere along the way. Here's Rob driving in. Nice pass, and Bush forced to commit the foul as Clark was going to the basket.
And it's those like secondary, movements that I really like to see with Leicester. They just play so well together, and no one ever gets stuck with the ball without a pass.
There's Clark. It's a little fall away. Slightly reminiscent of her brother, that shot.
I was going to say Dirk Nowitzki.
Well, yeah. I think he did it first. Nice steal again from Rob. Here's Clark. Wide open for 3. Dangerous gamble, that. Not quite enough in the legs from Ella Clark.
Yeah, you can't leave that open.
Here's Carr, already made one in this quarter. That one doesn't go.
Well, it was a good find as well and a good-looking shot. Suns just have to start converting on some of these good looks.
Nice move, Kate Oliver putting it on the floor and driving to the basket.
Now she's putting it on the floor from the three-point line. What's next?
It's so difficult to guard her, but just because you have to honor that three-point shot.
Yeah.
Such a good touch around the rim.
Bush fighting hard for space.
No, I really like to see that. Her coach is clapping that. Like, she's playing hard. She did pick up a foul, but she's playing hard defense. And you know, you see a coach come over and he's clapping her. Just keep it up, and that's what you want to see from a coach.
Her energy has been fantastic, both ends of the floor.
Yeah.
It's so such an asset to have someone on the floor like that who can shoot the ball so well as well.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't, you know, I mean, she has scored today, but it doesn't necessarily matter what she does on the stat sheet. She's just that energy player. And there you go again, yeah. The effort player. You can't replace them.
Oh, an effort player who's given you 8 points as well. It's pretty productive.
Exactly.
Leicester's lead is 10. They've got 17 in this period. Rob running the baseline into Oliver, who had great position, did her work early then.
And there's really nothing you can do about that. Tiani came over in help as well, but they just don't have much size inside.
Here's Clark. Cross court to Carr for three. Back iron. Lapp and Cooper. Cross to Henriksdotter for three. Right behind that, looked good. It had the line for sure. Just not quite enough on the legs. Clark into trouble, not loose. Kicks it out. Shot clock down to 5 here. Foul called, 2 free throws coming.
Oh, it's Garrido Perez again, making something happen, but you can't help but feel everything is so much harder, or so much hard work for the Suns to get something at the rim or get a shot off. But alternatively, on the other end of the floor, Leicester Riders getting whatever they want, and I think they're settling for the three. Too many occasions. You've got someone like Kate Oliver who they can get the ball into the post, and it doesn't necessarily mean she has to score the ball. She passes the ball well enough, and you know, you've got players that cut well enough as well to get something from that.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing. It just looks like hard work for Sevenoaks right now, but you're right. And, you know, we've said it before, everything goes through Oliver.
Now here she is in the low block. Steps under, kicks out, resets herself. And to Rob, cutting through the lane, gets the roll.
Wow, the whole play was through Kate Oliver, and as soon as she gave the ball up, she wanted it back again, and great find there for Rob. 10 points personal for her.
Kate Oliver into triple-double watch here. She's already got a double-double with points and rebounds. 5 assists now after that one. Here's Henriksdotter into the lane, and things starting to get away from the Sevenoaks Suns here in the third quarter as Leicester score on the buzzer and stretch their lead out to 14 points.
You know, I think the difference is that they are all taking responsibility for offense. Yes, the ball goes through Kate Oliver a lot of the time. Yes, she takes a lot of the defensive attention, but they're all moving off the ball. They all want to attack the basket, and they all want to do something positive offensively.
Leicester back in control here in the cup final. Can they see it home? Fourth quarter action when we return. to Manchester. 10 minutes remain in the WBBL Cup final. And Sevenoaks looking to find a way back into this game once again, and that's the way to start it. And that's been the player who's done most of their damage today, Janice Monacana, 18 points.
Yeah, the others really need to start stepping up and helping her out a little bit.
Daughter out to Oliver for 3.
Bit off balance there.
Clark's 3 doesn't go. Well, what they don't want to do is think they've got to get it all back here in the first minute.
Yeah, they just got to chip away. Stockton scores.
Well, we've seen it too. You get this game close in the last, latter couple minutes of the game. People get tighter, the pressure's higher, things start to happen.
Here's Clark off the mark, and there is also that thing in the back of Leicester's heads where the last 3 times they've seen Sevenoaks in a final, they've lost them all. And Monacana is trying to do it all by herself here.
That's exactly what she's doing. Absolutely incredible. Not settling for the 3 again, finding a way to get all the way to the rim, and what a reverse with the contact.
That's one of the things she's really good at, is the balance of the way she scores. She doesn't, like you said, she's not just going to fall in love with the 3-point line. She's going to attack the basket. She can score in so many ways, but she's good at choosing those ways.
Okay, Oliver pulls in yet another defensive rebound. She's closing in. In fact, she's equaled the cup final record for defensive rebounds with 12. Henrik's daughter. Oh, Carr's gone down hard. She's got a hand on her back there. I didn't quite see what happened, but she looks in an incredible amount of pain on the floor there.
She's not a player that goes down easily either.
Sarah, Henrik's daughter, does a really good job, again, of finding herself all the way to the rim. And that's what they missed in the first half, I think, is having her consistent input on the offensive end.
Yeah, and just her consistent movement as well. She never stops. It's really hard to guard a player like that.
Excellent cover.
Well, let's just have a look what happens. And she just, trips over herself.
She roll her ankle? Or?
Yeah, it was her back she was holding. She is back to her feet, so whether she landed awkwardly in it, but that is good to see that she's walking off under her own steam. Well, you feel that if she can walk it off, she'll be back out there as soon as possible.
Yeah, she's not sitting out on this one.
No, this is not a game. Yeah, this is not a game you can take back tomorrow or do tomorrow. This is WBBL Cup final.
Bush trying to get free. Rob chasing her. Bush did eventually get some space, but the shot off the mark.
Leicester have done a really good job on Renee.
Well, the problem with that is that sometimes leaves somebody open, and Andrews makes them pay.
She's a great young prospect. She is instant offense. That kid can score in multiple ways. It's good to see. I love watching younger players on a big stage like this.
Cross court to Rob to reply with 3 of her own, and she was off down court. She knew that was in as soon as it left her hand.
The runaway. Has she missed one yet? 3 or 4.
Janice Monacana again, so effective in there.
Just aggressive attack. She's certainly done everything she can to keep her team in this game. 22 points so far.
She just wills herself to the basket, doesn't she? She goes so hard.
And you said it right at the top of the show. When it's the brightest lights and the biggest stage, it's often when we see the best of her as well.
Yeah, definitely. She 100% shows up under the bright lights. I don't think she's played, I've never seen her play a final where she hasn't.
No, exactly. Here's Rob, who certainly stepped up today, and with the reverse lane, Hannah Robb up to 15.
Hannah Robb, if she keeps making these moves, she's going to slot herself nicely into an MVP category here. Phenomenal production from her.
I'm loving this. She's just recently got a GB spot too, and it's just so nice to see her playing with such confidence.
Well, you've got to say, if Leicester go on to win, she's pushing Kate Oliver right now in that discussion. Henry's daughter for 3, off the mark, rebound Clark. Stolen away again. Leicester looking to turn defense into offense. Henry's daughter turns down the 3, takes the mid-range instead.
Smart decision. She's missed her last couple of threes.
Carr. Clark fakes the pass, takes the 3, makes it all string.
Good job she made it too, because Renee was the one on her left. She passed up the best three-point shooter in the WBBL.
Self-confidence right there, and she knocks down her first 3.
Here's Rob. Winterman driving hard to the hole. Rims out. 6 to play in the cup final. Perez, tough finish off the glass. And Coach Sunberg went straight to the table, said, I need a timeout here. The lead's down to 7.
She's had herself a game too.
She has, and it's a really well aggressive, controlled move to the basket there, and a nice finish from the left side.
Yeah, 15 points.
The only other player in double figures for the Suns behind Monacana. But a timeout called by Leicester here, and it's just one of those small momentum shifts that he felt in the game, and he just wanted to bring it to an abrupt end. And we've seen them coming out of timeouts today being very good.
Yeah, he's a really good coach, and you know he knows when to have control of his team, and they practice. They're so well prepared that a timeout like this, they're only going to come out of positively.
Well, I wonder whether he might think to bring Kate Oliver back into the game. She's been on the bench the last couple of minutes. Doesn't look like she's in the 5 from where she stood there.
You know, she's one of those players where you know she's not there when she's not there.
Yeah.
Obviously, you see her all the time, but she just holds everything together. And a little bit like when she sits on the bench, slightly falls apart.
Still a good bit of basketball to play here. 6 minutes to go, and you know, if the Suns go on another one of those mini runs, like I said, it's a 1-2 point shot game, then that's where the pressure really starts to come in. And when the pressure comes in, you've got very experienced players on this Suns team that can turn this game on its head.
Yeah, we talked about it at the top of the game. I fancy Sevenoaks if it gets close.
Oh, it might not, though. A big 3 out of the timeout. The lead's back to 10.
She heard me.
Huge shot, and what great execution, just as you said, Siobhan, out of the timeout.
Kat Carr with a quick reply. He needs stops to go with the scores, though. Oh, good defense, knocked loose by Clark.
That's one step.
Here's Carr. Eventually finds some space, blocked by Ella Clark.
It's a great block there, and massive step through there from Kat Carr, but Clark says, nope, not right now.
It's a tough time in there. When you have Ella and you have Kate Oliver in there, it's really tough to get points in the paint.
Even Christina Gaskins, she's 6'2". It's a big front line in there.
Connors 3 off the back iron. Here's Clark. Back to Winterburn. Just bobbled it at the wrong time, but they will get possession from the end.
Ooh. Could have went either way, that one.
Fingertips. I'm always going to go against the referee, so I say it's the other way.
Well, when they watch this back, don't be surprised that you don't get a single call in your next game.
A brave statement, live TV, Siobhan, brave statement.
And I'm only saying what everybody else knows.
Here's Kat Carr for the Suns, down 8, 4.5 to play. Nakana looking to drive again. Oh, just doesn't get the roll. Clark inside to Winterburn. Good ball movement from the Riders.
You see their best players, they're so versatile. You know, Oliver, Ella, Holly.
It just looks like size mismatches everywhere on the floor as well. You know, the Riders 2, 3, 4 inches, the bigger on most matchups.
And when those players can score from the three-point line too, it's just a nightmare. Here we go
Once again inside to Winterburn. Shot clock getting low, it needs to go up. Holly Winterburn gets it away. She actually had a little more time than she realized. Threw it quickly. Well, 3:29 to go. Not quite the last roll of the dice, but he's got to come up with something here, Len Bush, for his team to find these 10 points that they trail by.
Even that last possession for the Leicester Riders, it's not disastrous because, you know, you take 24 seconds off the shot clock, and you're looking for good shots as well. You're not just settling for the 3, you're looking for good shots around the basket.
Well, you can see the scoring by quarters, and it's really gone back and forth all the way through this. Leicester winning this fourth period 14 points to 7, and hence why they lead by 10.
Yeah, it's as if either team are just looking for the knockout blow each quarter.
Well, Leicester have had numbers all over the board. You can see their shooting percentages have been consistently better. 20 assists versus 11 assists on only a 7-point differential. Sevenoaks have done better on the rebounding in the second half.
Just with regards to the assists there is well done. I mean, you can just see it from the movement on court that it's, you know, it's clear that they've got more assists than Sevenoaks Suns.
And 8 steals there for Leicester to only 1 steal, and yet the turnovers are about the same. So it shows you how Leicester's defense has been forcing mistakes out of their opponents.
Yeah, it's really what they rely on. You know, like we said before, they're a great defensive team.
O'Connor driving in, poked away, and again another steal for Leicester. Down low to Clark. Knocked loose by Carr. Carr. No way past Winterburn, gets it to Clark. Lights went out there, big block again from Clark. Shot clock doesn't reset, needs to get it away. Oh, great reply.
Wow.
She was brave. She just got one thrown down her throat and she shot it again. Right in her face.
That veteran class right there.
And these are the players, you know, Tiani, Kat, these are the players that are going to bring it home for them if it's close at the end.
Well, this is it now, isn't it? Last couple minutes of the game, you've got to roll the dice now, and your leaders have to step up.
Yeah, definitely. And the rest of the team are used to seeing that happen, so they're going to rely on that a little bit
It's
too.
Oliver driving in, and the foul is called. I think she got fouled a couple of times there as she went to the basket. Might have been one up the top. There's definitely one there. You talked earlier about noticing when she wasn't on the court. She's come back on. She's got the best plus-minus in the game. I know it's a weird stat, plus-minus, but plus 24 when she's been on court in an 8-point game.
Yeah, you can see it, you can feel it. It's more of like a feeling, especially when you're like playing against them. You know when she's off the court. You can't, I guess the plus minus is a stat, but you can't really stat it. It's just the influence that she has.
Well, that plus minus goes up another 2 from the free throw line. The lead is 10, 2:20 to play here. So Leicester Riders bid to claim the WBBL Cup for the first time. Just a little grimace again from Kat Carr.
And it's a really good thing. You see, she pulls Kate Oliver out here. You have to pull her out of the paint because, as we were saying before, when Ella and Kate are in there, it's really difficult to score. So pulling her out of the paint is what they should look to do.
There's Bush along the baseline. 2 minutes to play. 64-74. Leicester lead. That's out of bounds and will be possession for the Suns. 1:58 remaining.
This Leicester Riders defense has done a phenomenal job on Len Bush. She's just took 3 shots from beyond the perimeter, but even on that occasion there, she doesn't even have time to catch the ball and look at the rim. They've done a really good job of running up to her and running her off the 3-point line.
Yeah, just really good preparation, and they're following their scout. Every shot she's taken's been contested.
64-74, Leicester lead. There's Carr. To the spin, misses it. 1:50 to play. Leicester will take some air out of the ball here. No rush at all. Even a shot clock violation isn't the worst result. 100 seconds to play. Nice pass from Oliver. Good ball movement. Henriksdottir for 3. Off the back of the iron.
That was beautiful, I think.
Great basketball.
Yeah.
Really is great basketball.
Suns trail by 10. 1:25 to go. Monicano driving through and takes the foul once again. She will go to the free throw line.
I think the difficult thing for the Suns as well, that the offense hasn't came easy, and Janice Monicano has had to expend so much energy in trying to make something happen off the dribble or attack the rim, and it has its toll, and it takes its toll on not just your body but also the mind, is that you never get any easy buckets.
No, and you know, if you look at the spread on Riders, it's 12 points, 15 points, 16, 10. You know, they've got a number of players in double digits, and really, you know, for Sevenoaks, it's Janice's and Perez have taken.
Well, bad news for Rianne Bailey. Her cup final record for points scored has been beaten now by Janice Monicano's 24. There is 1 minute and 13 seconds to go. It's 74-65. And we will have a timeout called. And I said the last one wasn't the final roll of the dice. This one is for Len Bush. In essence, they have to win this last 113, 9-0. If they give up any scores, it's too far away.
Yeah, and they're obviously going to have to foul to stop the clock, and you know the chances of Leicester Riders missing free throw after free throw is extremely slim, as they've shot the ball not great today at 60%, but it's better than 0.
Yeah, you know, I never count Sevenoaks out, but it's looking like a tall order at the moment.
Just looking at the points per game record, Janice Monicano now is 2 of the top 3 in cup final history for scoring. She was joint second for her performance of 21 points last year, and she's now first with 24 points this year, but it appears it might be in vain.
Yeah, you know, she would rather score 5 points and win, I'd say.
And you can tell the way she plays as well. That statement is 100% true. You know, she's not just played basketball to score the ball today. She's played to win, and you can just tell that she's got that winning mentality. Puts her body on the line and does whatever is necessary to get her team a win.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, Leicester with 19 on the shot clock. I'm sure they'll look to take most of those off if they can. Got to get it in first. Winterburn was their option, got there in the end, and a quick foul. They're not over the limit, though. They've still got 2 more to give to send Leicester to the foul line.
They'll just be getting them out really quickly.
Oh, Gaskin sneaking back door, gets her own rebound. It didn't hit the ring. It wouldn't have mattered. There was 15 seconds on the shot clock anyway. It probably helped. And there is a foul, but they did manage to take 9 seconds off the clock there. 103 remain. 65-74. The Riders lead.
Well, you can't help but feel that was the Suns' opportunity right there. Missed shot and just as good as a turnover, really, but offensive rebound and control resumed for the Riders.
Yeah, those are things that really kill you as well. You just can't allow offensive rebounds at a point in a game like that.
Well, the 5th foul committed now in the quarter. So Winterburn at the free throw line for 2. Misses the first. She's normally an 80% free throw shooter on the season. Whoa, I thought that one was coming out as well. Well, a roll across the floor to save some time. Got to be quick, and it's got to go in. Doesn't matter what it's worth, it just has to go in as quickly as possible. Carr steps back, that's a long 2, and it's off the mark, and Winterburn with the rebound, and there's 40 seconds to play in the cup final. Leicester on the brink here. Well, that was one of them. They thought about it and then committed the foul, and by that point it's probably too late because you've lost the seconds anyway.
Yeah, you need to just foul straight away. And Holly's not, I know she missed the last 2, she's not the one you really want to foul.
Well, you can only foul the one with the ball. That's why she's got the ball, isn't it?
It's
although
true.
she does miss again. One of 2. Again, the ball rolled across the floor to save the time. Shot has to go straight up here. It does from Clark for 3. And that will surely be that. As Leicester get the rebound, well, there'll be one more foul. But this is just about margin of defeat here for Sevenoaks. They're playing to the final buzzer, but the final buzzer is going to come too soon for them. And what a game Hannah Robb has had, by the way. 15 points, 4 rebounds, couple of assists, a steal. But actually, it was there was more to it than that. It was the effort and the hustle.
Yeah, it's really nice to see her playing well on a big stage like this. And you're right, she has scored. She has got herself a lot of good stats on that stat sheet, but it goes way beyond that.
Well, Carr with a bucket. It might well be their final bucket. Leicester get it over the halfway line. The shot clock is ticked off, and they will dribble it out. And for the first time in their history, the Leicester Riders are going to win the WBBL Cup. The seconds tick off, but the celebrations have already begun. And the Leicester Riders are the champions of 2021. Well, it was a tough old battle for them. They got off to such a tremendous start, and then Sevenoaks came all the way back, and they had to slug it out again in the second half, Leicester.
Yeah, they did, but that unit that the Leicester Riders had, and I think they started that second half with, was just so solid, and it just showed, I think they just put that shell shock into the Sevenoaks Suns, and they lost belief in that as well, but superb contributions. Kate Oliver, who just, I thought, was their absolute rock, the one that they could go to, not just for scoring, but also to distribute to her teammates. But no, a phenomenal job, but on the defensive end, I thought the Riders were the better team in the second half.
Oliver with a WBBL Cup final record, 14 defensive rebounds, 18 points, 5 assists as well. But what you saw from Leicester is the spread of scoring, where they've got 4 players between 10 and 18 points, and then there's a few 6s and 7s after that as well.
Yeah, and those guys are giving you production offensively, but they're also phenomenal in the defensive structure, and that's what that was. They were getting energy from making, you know, really good defensive stops and going out down the other end of the floor. But as you said, Dan, you know, I thought Henrik's daughter was great in the second half there. You know, 10 points for her, chipping in there. Holly Winterburn just doing her thing, being very versatile and, you know, making the right plays. 16 points for her, but, you know, a special mention in Hannah Robb. I thought she was brilliant. Energy was great. Her attitude was fantastic, and she put 17 points on the board.
Well, you look at the shooting numbers, and they do tell a story. It was never easy for Sevenoaks to score. The 9 steals as well for Leicester. 9 of the 10 turnovers that Sevenoaks committed were stolen away, and Leicester were able to turn them into 13 points off turnovers. Tremendous victory for the Leicester Riders. Let's get some reaction from courtside with Nat.
Yeah, clinical stuff from the Riders. I mean, the momentum we were suggesting at the half, Siobhan, was with the Suns, and that third quarter was the stuff of champions from Leicester, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. They just rely on what they do best. They came out, they really spread the scoring, like Dan said, and it's really difficult to beat a team when there are so many threats out there offensively.
Yeah, it's difficult to pick a standout player across the Leicester. We have to, an MVP, and we'll announce who that is in a minute, but the strength in depth tonight was the big difference, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can work really hard to stop one player, and you can work hard to stop 2, but when you've got 3, 4, 5 threats out on the floor, you know, something's got to give, and the Riders were able to take advantage of that.
Who stood out for you tonight?
You know, I'm going to have to say Hannah Robb is phenomenal. You know, I'm not biased at all. But yeah, she was phenomenal. But again, talking about a team effort, I was just so impressed with the ball movement, the way they swung the ball, the way they cut with precision. So sometimes I'm always looking for people who know they're maybe not getting the pass, they maybe don't cut as hard. Leicester stuck with it. You never knew where the ball was going, and I think for that reason, that's why they found a way to win tonight.
Defensively, they were so effective. Janice Monacana notwithstanding, the other big names for Sevenoaks just couldn't get going, could they?
No, not at all. And I think, you know, if you watch how they guarded Renee, they scouted that to perfection, but it's not just good enough to scout it, you have to perform the scout on the night, and that's what they did. You know, they're #1 defensive team for a reason, and they really showed that tonight.
That was particularly impressive. Renee Bush kept into, you know, single-digit scoring points tonight. I mean, that was an incredible defensive performance from the Riders, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, they ran her off the line every single time. Any shot that she took was contested. They knew where she was at all times. And that was, we spoke about that at the start of the game. That's one of the key factors that Riders executed really well.
The Suns kept fighting, and Janice Monacana, of course, was the standout player today. How impressed were you with her, given the fact that she wasn't getting a huge amount of support offensively from the rest of her teammates?
I like to think with determination. Like, she just put her head down when she needed to, but she was so agile. She moved so well. You know, she shot the ball well. She was just aggressive. You know, I think Siobhan and Rihanna had mentioned at the start, you know, she's an X factor in this game, and she definitely was. You know, she nearly found a way to pull that win out for Sevenoaks.
You absolutely called that one spot on. But it was a 7-point game with just 6 minutes to go. So credit to the Suns for keeping this tight and not lying down.
Yeah, they were never going to, and you know, Leicester didn't expect them to either. They're a team that's won so much in the past. A team like that doesn't roll over. You have to beat them, and you have to play 40 minutes to do it.
It's exactly what the Riders did, and they are about to get their just rewards. Let's get back to Ant and Dan for the trophy presentation.
Thank you very much, Nat. Yes, indeed, it is time for the presentation, and this is the moment that the Leicester Riders will enjoy and remember for many a year, and it will be one that the Suns will want to get over with as quickly as possible. You've stood on both sides of this line, and the contrast of emotions that goes through those two sides.
Yeah, as terrible as it feels now for Sevenoaks Suns, you know, please believe me when I tell you it's the fire in the belly. I remember standing there close to tears in all honesty, but what it did for me is it really gave me that drive for the next year, where, you know, luckily I was in a position to redeem myself on a very good Leicester Riders team. But, you know, I think the Sevenoaks team is a team with high expectations. They're one of the most respected and a powerhouse organisation in the WBBL, and I'm sure this will make them stronger.
Well, I know Coach Bush will be proud of his team. He won't be too happy that they've had to hand it back to their opponents for this year, but I'm sure he'll be thinking it's on loan and will come again next year back. And obviously, in the current era, no presentation party, so they have to go up and collect their mementos themselves.
And let's not talk like this is the end of the season. This is the first piece of trophy, silverware, and what this can do for you. I've been in that position too. It can really propel you for the season. You know, that there's nothing quite like that hurt of getting so close to making something happen and not getting it done. So this could be a motivator again and a push on for this Sevenoaks Suns team.
It certainly can, and he will come again, as will his team, no doubt about that. They are obviously undefeated until today in this season. A lot of games to make up, but they will, I'm sure, be in amongst it as it gets played out. And the Leicester Riders, this is their moment. They get to go up and claim their winners' medals. And I think it'd be interesting. They were talking down courtside as to which way they might go for the MVP. We've talked about what a tremendous game Hannah Robb had, but let's have two players who were borderline triple-double there. Kate Oliver had a double-double with 18 points, 14 rebounds and 5 assists, while Holly Winterburn, 16 points, 8 rebounds and 8 assists. So they were both within 4 or 5 of a triple-double.
I don't know who gets the luxury of making that decision on that call, but I don't know. I think we highlighted that in the game. When Kate Oliver was out of the game, you knew she was out of the game, and for that very reason, for me, she had the most impact on this game, and she was superb.
Well, she had the best index rating. The efficiency ratings are the same, but she did have the best index rating at 32. And Coach Sunberg is doing well, I think it's fair to say, in his role as the Leicester Riders head coach. He's certainly turned them into a formidable team. They were a team on the rise, and they may well be the team at the top right now.
He has done a superb job, and I think it's unnecessary pressure as well. When you have a men's team that's a championship caliber team, the women's team has to be on suit.
Well, they're ahead now, aren't they? And they won last year and this year, and it always seems to be her. Once again, the MVP, Kate Oliver. She's done it twice in trophy finals, and now another golden basketball to add to her collection.
Rightfully so. She was fantastic. Both ends of the floor. Any shot she didn't block, she changed, and then just on the other end, just making the right plays, whether that was the right pass, whether that was the right shot. She was incredible.
Well, this is the real thing with the presentation not being there. They have to go and collect the trophy themselves as well. But the team will line up behind their captain. And Kate Oliver, I think she's planning out how she's going to do this now. And here we go. The moment they've been playing since August for, the moment of celebration as they pose as a team for the picture behind the trophy. And now Kate Oliver will step forward, and the 2021 WBBL Cup champions of the Leicester Riders. The ticker tape flies, and they will enjoy themselves. You've been there celebrating at the end of a final, and this, I'm sure, will go long into the night.
Oh, it's awesome, and especially the BBL Cup, WBBL Cup. It's the first piece of silverware you can win, and it really does set the precedent for the remainder of the season. And it's such a relief as a player too, just knowing that you haven't got a whole season without winning it. You can lose the rest of the season, all the games, and you've still got this one, and no one can take it from you.
Well, they said Whitney Allen was the joker of the pack. She's gone straight for the streamers as well. And they will decorate her for sure. But a tremendous performance from Leicester, and a performance that they've deserved for what they've done through this. They've slogged their way through. They're unbeaten in all competitions this season. They have been the standout team to this point.
Yeah, and it's not been an easy journey, is it? You know, the start-stop, is it happening, is it not happening? Are we playing this team, are we playing that team? So they've had a lot of psychological, I think, distractions as you enter this stage, but it didn't show. They were brilliant from start to finish. They were professional. They played together on both ends of the floor, and they were the rightful champions for me today.
Well, they certainly were. Leicester Riders win the WBBL Cup. Let's go back down courtside to Nat.
Two of you, of course, know exactly what this feels like. What's going through their minds at the moment, Siobhan?
It's just a great feeling. You know, you put all that hard work in, and playing on a big stage like this, it is a disappointment that there's no fans, but hey, they got ticker tape. I feel like that's quite exciting.
It's not a bad consolation, is it? It's always a difficult thing to do, to step up, however experienced you are, however much of a winning culture there is in the side on the big occasion. Certain players seem to be able to do that more than others. Kate Oliver, our MVP, loves the big occasion, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. She's a fantastic player. She's so versatile, can score from anywhere on the floor. And she's the captain for a reason. She led that team today. When she was out of the game, it was noticeable. And when she was on the floor, she made a real impact.
What is it about certain players, Kieran, that live for the clutch moments, live for the big occasions?
I mean, I'm the worst person to ask that question. No, but you just see it. It's the willingness, you know, wanting that pressure, wanting to be that person in big moments. And it's essentially knowing what you can do. When you have that belief, I think that's what takes them over that edge. And you know, if they do it in practice every single day, the work they put in, then they have the willingness to want to do it at the big stage. I think that, you know, that's a kind of deadly combination.
It was a really impressive performance on both sides from her, but of course a lot of big performances across this Leicester roster. Who else stood out for you tonight, Siobhan?
I mean, I think Hannah Robb, I was really pleased to see her step up. She just got a GB call up for the senior squad, and it was really nice to see her play well. Sarah played well as well. I mean, there was so many people across the board that played well, but I think the difference with Kate Oliver is that she doesn't have to be scoring, she doesn't have to be rebounding, it doesn't have to be a stat line, but everything goes through her. She takes so much attention from the defense. You know, I don't think you could have given it to anybody else. Although, again, Holly Winterburn, she played really well as well, 18 points, I think. But Oliver, everything goes through her, and I think that's the difference.
Delighted to say she's joining us now, our MVP, Kate Oliver. Congratulations, Kate. A superb performance. What does this one mean to you?
Oh, this one means so much. It's been such a long few months to get to this point. I mean, we're just so lucky to be able to be out on the floor in the first place, but to be actually able to play out there for a piece of silverware, it feels incredible.
Talk us through how difficult it has been playing basketball this season in a world, of course, that is affected so significantly by COVID.
I think that it's easy to get caught up in how difficult it is, but we really have been putting an emphasis on how lucky we are to actually be still able to do what we want to do. I mean, while most of the country is locked inside, not able to leave their homes, we're able to spend a couple of hours each day with each other doing what we really love to do. And so to be able to come out here and still be able to perform, it really just makes all those difficulties worth it.
You were exceptional tonight, but it was a really strong team performance. Talk us through some of the big performances from your teammates.
I mean, we had so many contributors tonight. Everyone stepped on the floor and really made a difference. We really wanted to make sure that we left everything out there and that, you know, it was a full team effort tonight. There was no one individual that did it for us, and credit to everyone that stepped on the floor.
Credit to the Suns. They showed real fight, of course, after a very difficult first quarter, and in many respects they were the ones going into the locker room at halftime with momentum, but it showed the spirit within the Leicester side that in particular in the third quarter you shut that momentum down.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've had the good fortune to be able to be on the floor for the last couple of weeks coming into this game, and so I can only imagine how difficult it was for them to get going from the get-go, just to be able to firstly step on the floor and get back playing again in this setting. So absolutely massive congrats to them for putting in a real performance today.
And of course, this is only the start of it as far as the silverware this season is concerned. Going great guns in the league as well, but Sevenoaks, you'd imagine, are going to be pushing you all the way, aren't they?
Absolutely. I believe we match up against with them in the next week or so, so I'm sure that it's going to be another big battle then.
Congratulations on a superb performance. Go and enjoy the win.
Thank you very much.
Kate Oliver, our MVP, Kieran, and well deserved.
taking advantage of Bush's three-point shot.
Was in the mix there as well. That we wanted to get some synchronization.
So Kate Oliver here is our MVP. It was a close call, but if you look at her performance tonight, the double-double in particular, as the guys were saying, strength on both sides and a captain's performance leading by example. And it was one of those performances that seemed to bring up all her teammates around her as well, particularly Kieran, as the edge started rolling away from Leicester after the brilliant start, and Sevenoaks were getting back into it.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things that the second quarter especially, Sevenoaks got back into the game. Then third quarter, Leicester pulled it away again, but Kate Oliver was off the court, and then she came back into the game again. She just really has brings this calmness to her. She made the big basket, the big pass, got the big rebound, whatever it took for the team to get that edge, and she led from the front.
Okay, let's hear from the winning coach, Jasper Sunberg. The Leicester coach joins us now. How special is this one for you, Jasper, given the challenging season that you've had so far?
Yeah, like I said before the game, it's really fun for us to even be here playing, because we wasn't sure if we're gonna get played this game. And two things: beating Sevenoaks is always great for us. Like, we know it's a tough competition, so just that is special. And then you add the trophy on it. And for the club, this is the first time we make it to the cup final, and to add on to the silverware for the club, it's really fun.
A lot of damage, of course, was done in the first quarter. We talked before the game about the difficult preparation Sevenoaks have had, of course, having not played competitive basketball for a couple of months. Did that show? Did you think that was one of the key reasons why they had such a sluggish start?
Yeah, I think that's the only reason. I mean, you can't be not playing for 2 months and then be back in minute one. Like, it takes time, and we've been playing for so long, so obviously we had an advantage there, and we're trying to make the best out of it to really start pushing. But at the same time, we know that if we play in Sevenoaks, they're not gonna give up and lay down. So we knew that, yeah, we got a little lead there, a little cushion, but at some point we know that they're gonna make their runs, and we just need to stay calm and trying to find a solution for it. We struggled a little bit when they went with the 5 guards, and because that puts us out of our normal defensive principles a little bit, which is something that we're not used to, let's put it that way. But at the same time, we're trying to see the positive in it, and that we have the advantage offensively instead. So it's not really the game that we usually play that goes to these high numbers, but when we know that it's going to be more challenging defensively, then we put more efforts into the offense, basically.
How impressed were you with your skipper and our MVP tonight, Kate Oliver?
Yeah, I mean, it's Kate. Like, we expect her to play like this. I was surprised when they called out the stats for the Finals MVP, but I mean, I don't know.
Surprised how?
We cannot say.
Surprised why?
No, because 14 rebounds is a lot, and right. I didn't really notice it. Like, she just does great things for us all the time. So, and she's being the vocal leader with the group, and like, so she's really special for us, and she was phenomenal today.
A lot of basketball to play this season, of course, Coach. Is there more silverware in this roster, do you think?
I sure hope so. I mean, we know that there's a few teams that are great competitors with us, but I like where we are in the preseason we had and the build-up we have to this point, and I feel confident playing all the opponents, and we just try to find a game plan for each opponent, and then we take it from there. But I think for sure, I mean, we're undefeated still, and we played most of the teams, so yeah, why not?
Well, you got to go and enjoy this one, Coach. Congratulations on a brilliant team performance in the first silverware of the season.
Thank you, appreciate it. Bye.
It was impressive stuff from him as well tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at that impressive stat. For me, they had 23 assists as a team. I think they're averaging 20 assists, in the championship, from assists, and that starts with the coach. He draws up some phenomenal plays that just put players in good positions, and all it is a simple catch and finish then, and I think, all credit to him. He was very well prepared for this game today.
Interesting what he was saying in the interview, Siobhan, about being taken off the usual stride, the usual game, but adapting, and he really liked what he saw from his players in that respect.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of Leicester, you think of preparation. And so to be a coach that can prepare like that, but then also to be a coach that in a game can make changes on the fly, you know, that's really special. So you can see they know exactly what they're doing. They know when to do it. All of their players are put in positions where they can shine and where they shine best. And it's really tough to beat a team like that.
Yeah, apparently so. And they absolutely shone tonight. Now, every week on the show, we mic up a player, and we picked pretty well this week because the player mic'd up, hearing the sounds of the game, is our MVP, Kate Oliver.
Great look! 3 down if Holly's getting guarded by.
Kate, you good?
Talk to each other. 7, 6, 5, 4. Follow it! Good shooter! Help slow. All the way, Anna! There you go!
Yep, got you. Stay out, T down. Shot.
There you got it, Nina! Keep going! Stay up, Anna, stay up, I got a corner. Switch up! There's nothing to these guys. Keep this energy, keep the composure. When we do what we do well, it's working. Make sure we keep talking to each other and help each other out. Nice run! Good job! Good job, baby. Good job, baby!
So the Riders take down the first silverware of the season. How far can this team go, do you think?
They're a phenomenal team, and you know, I feel a bit weird saying this, playing the Manchester, you know, being a player in the Manchester Mystics, but they're a great team, and I think they can take it all the way if they continue to prepare all the way, just not past us.
And in terms of the season ahead, talk us through, because we've seen two teams that we knew were going to be contenders, great records, great tradition of winning. But for the viewers who are maybe watching the WBBL for the first time, what lies ahead in terms of the championship season?
I mean, I think this year has been really interesting. You know, teams have lost games that they shouldn't have lost, won games that they shouldn't have won. I'm really enjoying watching London Lions play right now. I really enjoy watching them on the fast break. They play together really well. And they've been a team in the past that have been at the bottom of the table, so it's really nice to see them up at the top. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. But I think people can just expect that every game is starting to be really competitive. There are less and less blowouts, and it's just nice as a player to have to know that you have to be ready to play every single game. And that sort of competitive streak is really nice to know you have to do that every time.
And what do you think this exposure is going to do for the WBBL?
I mean, we just need more of it. I mean, like you can see, basketball is such a great game, and especially the women's game. I know I'm biased, but it's really technical. Like, teams play together so well. The thing I love about basketball is you just don't know which way it's going to go. One team can be winning, like we saw in today's game, by so many at the start. Sevenoaks came back. It's a really exciting, fast game, and yeah, more of it, please.
Well said. It lived up to the hype. It's been absolutely great working with you and getting your input. Good luck with the rest of the season. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Our work here, though, isn't done. That was the first of our double header here on Sky Sports. Congratulations to the Leicester Riders for winning the first silverware of the WBBL season. We'll turn our attention to the BBL next. Friday night basketball and the build-up to Manchester, Surrey, coming up.